Okay, thank you for your patience, everybody, and welcome back to Pick and Roll. This is your NBA betting show on the Board YouTube channel, which is the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. I am back from my absence as host. Was dealing with a lot of Wi-Fi issues today, and fingers crossed, we are all set to go for today's stream, where we have an official play coming for you. Only one official bet with a small slate, but we have some great discussion lined up for the Clippers, who are in serious trouble with their Paul George injury. And we'll have some takes on whether or not we think they are able to still get into the playoffs at all. But yesterday's show, it was a bit of a weird one. A couple of weird days in a row as it comes to the picks. The recap, it's a profitable day. It's not the most profit, but it is a profitable day nonetheless here on the show. The record is 117 and 91 with almost 12 units of profit, a 4.9% ROI. And yesterday, it was weird. The DeRozan play, he got injured, but my DeRozan, I don't think, was hitting his points anyway. Trae Young hit his over late on in that game against the Timberwolves. And for the Jokic play, we placed it at DraftKings, and Nikola Jokic, who goes over his line, the bet still cashes rather than voids, despite Bradley Beal missing a game through an injury. So a half unit of profit there. All in all, on the day, it's a 9% ROI. So nice to see a bit of green there. Pips, any thoughts from yesterday's slate as a whole?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but we got there. I'm fortunate that the Beal didn't suit up. I think he was in great spot to cover. We saw Nikola Jokic, even with blowout, clearing this line easily. Trae Young came again as of late. He missed it was crazy. I mean, he missed like 5 wide open layups in that game, but still they end up covering, so that's great. But in the last part, Demar DeRozan, Jesus, that was so frustrating to so watch. Bulls gave up even before the game started. They were down, I think 23-1 to start the game, and it was so sick, man. Their efforts were non-existent. 76ers were making every possible shot. But the interesting part is the alternative line again hits so easily. Every time we have alternative line or spread, it's like clearing even way above the regular line.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I need to incorporate that more going forward for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also 76 scored like almost 80 points in the first half, and the line was the live line was at 232 and a half, and it still ended up like 210. So yeah, it's great. But Demar didn't make a single field goal in the game. He wasn't even trying. They were down 20 points, and I was like, okay, that this might be a good spot for Demar to just pick up pick up his game way earlier, but he just didn't care. He
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah. DeMar actually finished 0 of 7 from the field. Like I said, he got injured. Maybe I didn't watch it. I don't know if he looked injured before he went out, and maybe that's why he struggled so much, or I don't know what happened. Regardless, DeRozan, had he played the full game, probably wasn't going to hit this either.
yeah.
People in chat asking for DeRozan to get banned here. They don't want to see him any more picks. I will remind you guys, DeRozan is now 4-4 on the season with pick and roll plays. So not nearly as bad as you would suggest. And DeRozan is just, people are asking before, I imagine you like DeRozan just because when you know the mid-range is going to be open with guys in drop coverage, DeRozan is the one to exploit that. So matchup-wise, is that typically why you like DeRozan?
When they play single and the drop defense, he should cook in those games. But
Right.
you never know. His mental can't bet his mental state. That's crazy. I'm just checking something. So we missed this bet on the Rose, and we won previous one. We lost two. We lost 3 out of the last 4 on the Rose, but we won every almost. I think we are yeah. So we are 2-4. 3-4, 4-4 on the road in this season. So yeah, I think he's actually been like we were up until yesterday. So I don't have like Ben DeRozan. I mean, I have it for previous years,
Yeah, you
and
told us.
last night kind of reminded me of why I don't bet on DeRozan. But yeah, there are some spots that he did great. So
Right,
but
right. And he
I don't
had
know.
that, what do you have, 49 points earlier in the week?
Yeah, when we
Like
bet
you said,
against
it,
Bulls.
it's tough to assess what sort of mental state he's going to have going to the game because 0 of 7 was kind of crazy. But like I said, still a profitable day, very slightly, but we will take it. And there was a comment earlier about maybe going to more of these total plays, and that's been noted, potential to go to more of that in the future. Today, however, not going to be happen. Not going to be betting. I don't think the Bulls are playing today, but people are saying do not bet the Bulls. No Bulls bet today. Don't worry, everybody. We did have an original play. The show was a little bit delayed, so we appreciate your patience. There was a bit of a delay because one of the picks the pick that Pips wanted moved off its line, but there is still a good bet for you guys to make today. Let's pull it up here. It is in the Cavaliers and Nets game, going to Jared Allen on the double for minus 105 odds at DraftKings. This one is also available at Canby books like Barstool, Unibet, and Bet Rivers. Also, minus 108 at Caesars. But you guys, easy to get the minus 105 here on this one if you shop around. So plenty of opportunity to find this one. Pips, what do you like about Jarrett Allen in this matchup to make him the official play of the day?
So I'm just like the the Brooklyn Nets are they're getting completely destroyed on the rim. So since they went small, they are allowing the most rebounds to opposing bigs, and that's by some quite a large margin. Last game they played 2 days ago, Jared Allen had 14 rebounds, 8 offensive rebounds, and he scored 12 points. A lot of these are out of offensive rebounds, so he should be good on the points. His average is way above this, but rebounds he averages 10 rebounds a game over the season, and in this positive matchup, I think we will get a lot of rebounds. So prior to this game, Sabonis played the Nets. He had 21 rebounds. Then we had a game against the Denver Nuggets, Jokic with 20 rebounds. We had a game of the Bulls, Gobert had 13 rebounds, and like we can go so and on. Like Şengün had 12 rebounds in 30 minutes. Then we had Mark Williams of the Charlotte Hornets played only 24 minutes, still got 14 rebounds. Like everyone is just like killing these lines of rebounds. Every big that they play against the Nets is killing the rebounds. Mitchell Robinson 10 rebounds in 25 minutes. So every of these guys getting rebounds easily. Jokic also had earlier, like 2 weeks ago, 17 rebounds. Like every good rebounder, big, had like 50% over their season average. So like if they have like 8 rebounds average during the season, like they will have 12 to 13 rebounds against the Nets. Jokic has like 13 rebounds average. He had 20 and 17. Sabonis had 21. Everyone is getting like more like almost double their average rebounds against the Nets because they are too small. And Jared Allen is a big guy that can get all the rebounds. Claxton is staying for most of the time in dunker spot. So Jared Allen is close to the rim, guarding him and getting all the rebounds. And he should like he got to this 14 rebounds with only 6 defensive rebounds, and I think he should get more defensive rebounds tonight and with like couple of offensive ones and dunks, and he should be good.
That makes a lot of sense. Going with Jared Allen for this one. You've gone to this Cavs and Nets matchup a lot this season. I to my recollection, has been pretty good. So hopefully more of the same here. People asking in the chat for the play that you wanted before that is no longer available. I'll leave it up to you. But if the play comes back to a specific price, what is there maybe a play that they can look out for later on in the day?
This ain't coming back. Like no chance.
Okay,
So
not
yeah,
coming back on this one.
yeah, it's like I bet minus 120 at 9. So it was Gary Harris or under 9.5 points, -120. I'll just read Gary Harris, like 8.5 on BetMGM and FanDuel, 9.5 still on Caesars and DraftKings, but -160.
Right.
160. So that moved quite a lot, and it's never coming back. I think that's completely missed. They completely missed the line because Gary Harris is only shooting threes. So over the last 15 games, he only made a field goal that's not a three in 4 out of the last 15. So like in 11 out of the last 15 games, he only scored threes.
So he'd
And the
have to hit
difference
four
between
threes.
8.5 and a 9.5 is like he needs to score 4 threes to go
Right.
over on threes alone. That's like, and he averages about 4 attempts a game. So like he should be like perfect from the 3 point line to in order to cover this. So that was a huge pickup for me earlier this morning, and yeah, that's not coming back. The one thing that could probably still not open, I would like to go and look for the lines of Eric Gordon and Terrence Mann for the Los Angeles Clippers, and we'll talk about it later, so you guys will know why.
Okay, makes sense. So maybe just because I know some people might hear this and take a bad price on Gary Harris. Can you go like say a heavily juiced 9.5? Can you go over like just quickly again, like what a significant difference -130 makes to -120 for your ROI on the season?
So yeah, that's like you can just like imagine like you bet 1 unit to win 1 unit, and you bet 1.2 units, and you bet 1.3 units. And like if you lose 100 bets on the season, that's 10 units difference. Like that's like huge. Like when you like bet 200, like let's say you bet 300 bets in the season, and you profit like 15 or 20 units, that's a good season. Imagine if you have like instead of 15 units you have 5 units profit. That's like 3 times less profit. Like that's huge. You need to get good lines. You need to shop for the lines. You need to have as much outs as possible. And like the way, like I know the way Jacob, you are betting, and so many other people that are betting that are not that are sports bettors that are not like I am not a sports bettor. I am pro NBA pro bet specialist. That's the thing I'm doing. You guys, you and like everyone on the Hammer betting, probably like Rob and everyone, like every sharp better is like sports better. So you open like bet stamps and you just shop for the lines. You see like the consensus on like let's say Gary Harris is 8.5, and you get 9 like -110 and under, and you have like on one bookie like let's say like BetMGM has 9.5 -125. Yeah, you don't need any basketball, no, any NBA knowledge to know that that's great spot and that's long term profitable. And I think like shop for the lines. If you see consensus on most sharp bookies like DraftKings and FanDuel, but especially FanDuel, and you can find a huge difference on some local bookie or some small bookie, like just bet it. Like you don't need to think about it a lot. Like don't bet the opening lines because they are not as sharp. But if you are like from now on and later into the day, if you find like a huge difference when comparing to the FanDuel and Caesars, just bet it. Like that's long term profitable, and you should focus on it. Especially if you live in a state that has so many like if you can have like 5+ outs options bookies, you should probably like spend more time doing the line shopping and focusing on that. And that, yeah, that's long term profit.
It it's pretty crazy. The perception is perception of sports betting to like an outsider is if you know about a lot about sports, you know, you can win money betting on sports. And there's definitely like a few people here and there who definitely can do that. I'd say like you're one, you read the matchups and do very well at that. I myself can I could do that a little bit with basketball, but for the most part for basketball and for other sports, especially NFL as well, I can make some prices and do well. But a lot of my betting comes from just picking off lines like that. You're more prone to getting limited at some of these books because you're constantly getting really good CLV and picking off bad lines. But yeah, I mean, you don't need to know anything about a sport to make money betting on it. The notion that sports betting is knowing the most about sports is kind of wrong a lot of the time. It's more so understanding it as a market. Sports betting is a market. It's like playing the stock markets. So
Yeah.
just looking at
Yeah.
numbers, you can make good bets without even knowing a single player or anything about the sport. So,
And also, like, if you are like great, you have great sport knowledge, of course you can exploit it like a lot,
for
but
sure.
only in that specific sport. Like, you can be like professional, huge knowledge in like 5 sports, and if you have like huge knowledge in one sport, your volume will be not enough for you to like win huge. Like, especially if it's like the pro betting market, like your knowledge is great. Like, so you will have like 500 bets in a season. Like, the limit will come, and also the limits are not huge. Like, you can bet like $500 on every pro bet like that, and that's the problem. Like, and when you are shopping for the lines, you can get like 50 bets a day if you work enough, and like it's amazing. Oh yeah, if you're betting like this, edges are thinner, of course. Like, you are just shopping for the volume. So if you get like 2 to 3% ROI long term, that's great. But you have 5 times more volume, and so like 2.5% ROI is better than like 5 or 6% ROI on like 5 times lower volume. Like, that's
Yep.
simple math allowing probabilities. So like, just I had so many questions asked in my DMs, like, you won't believe it. I'm not saying anything against these people. Like, you need to like have deeper understanding of some things that like, for example, someone will say like, I see, for example, like Darius Garland is 22 and a half on FanDuel and Caesars, and I have it 20 and a half on my bookie. Is that a good bet? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing bet.
Yes.
You should bet it like instantly. And
Depending on the VIG, but yeah.
you will be surprised. Like, I get it like 5 to 6 messages a day on questions like that. Or someone is ruled out. Like, I don't know, like Paul George is ruled out, and people will like, I still have the same lines on everyone on that game. My bookies didn't close anything, so they are having like, I don't know, like Eric Gordon at 10.5 and Kawhi Leonard at 25.5. It should be like 29.5. Eric Gordon should be like 4 to 5 points higher, and they are asking like, who should I bet? Like, you can literally bet everyone and be profitable long term. Like, that's so like easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
I agree 100%. If you want to do like these line comparison things, if you're doing like straight bets, Pinnacle is likely the sharpest. Also, Circa, also to maybe a little bit of a lesser degree, BetCris. It's a sports book that take the biggest limits, and therefore, sports bettors, the very, very good professional sports bettors, can shape those lines, which is why they're sharper compared to a recreational book like some of the ones we use, like DraftKings, BetMGM, things like that. So for straight plays, Pinnacle, I'd say, is the best. For player props, as Showtime asks here, it's FanDuel. FanDuel
Yeah.
is likely the sharpest. If you can find a line off of FanDuel with the same amount of VIG, I would
I,
say obviously the higher you go, like, you get into the 20s for points, it's very different to like the 6 to 7.5. Like, that's very different. But 10 cents, if you can get like usually it costs about 10 cents to move off of a point to go up from like 21 to 22. So if it's like same VIG,
I think it's
different,
more.
you think it's more?
It's like 20 cents.
20 cents to move up
Yeah.
from like
Yeah.
21, 22?
I'll just say something like yesterday. Like, I shared the Trae Young in my group. Like, they just opened Trae Young, and I shared it. I waited for like 15 minutes to get some liquidity there, so that it doesn't move, like, straight away. It
Right.
Trae Young open at 27.5 minus 150, 115. I shared in my private group, and I watched the line. 45 seconds later, line went from minus 115 to minus 122, but 28. They moved entire point. So went from 27.5 minus 150 to 28.5 minus 122. And that's never happening on DraftKings and or DraftKings or like the BetMGM even slower. So like FanDuel is sharp. Like if they get any money of any winning better, it's moving like straight away. Like and they will move entire point and even more juice. Like from 27.5 minus 150 to 28.5 minus 122 in 40 seconds. Like that's just unbelievable, and that shows that they are sharp. Like
Yeah,
they react to everything. Like
the best sports books are playing defense on sharp bettors. They are playing defense. So the notion that sports books will always know more than players is BS. Bettors, the best ones, know more than the sports books. The sports books understand that, and the lines are shaped based on the sharp action. That's it. So the
and
bookies that take sharp action, those are the sharp books because they're priced into sharp numbers.
and I'll say like that's why people in this community know me as the person that usually hate on other people that attack like
Yeah, the
we'll
openers.
have the bets like 10 hours before the show or an hour late. So 10 hours before the show, people will already bet our lines, but not people, regular people, sports better, but huge Twitter accounts that have their record tracked and everything. They'll just like post like big opening line of Trae Young 27.5 minus 110 at bet over like at FanDuel or DraftKings, and they'll like bet like to win 1.5 unit, for example. Like no one will be able to get 1.5 unit on that week opening line. That's even like maybe if you have like $20 unit, probably you can get it.
Yeah, yeah.
And also you post it on Twitter and you have like 30,000 followers, and like maybe 5 people will get it, and you'll track it like as like I have problems with that, because not only that no one can profit, no one can benefit from it, like maybe some like 1% of the people, but the second thing is you move the line for everyone else. Like if you just didn't post it for like 3 hours, maybe it will be gone, but if you post 3 hours later, probably more people can get it. And like it's crazy. Like when markets get liquidity, they often uh, are slower to react to moving lines. But if it's a weak opening line, like you can have 3 people betting $50 and move the line.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we are us having, I don't want to brag or anything, but us having a winning record betting at this time of the day when most of the weak lines and the lines that have edge are already moved is a big thing. Like if you are a professional bettor, if you want to win, you need to bet earlier than this show. Like, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. You can still find good bets the other day, but like the earlier, the better for a lot of these things
Yeah.
because I wouldn't necessarily go this far as like bettors are typically specialists, as Pips was saying. Usually, sports books have specialists for specific sports, but I think a lot of you would be shocked how little goes into opening lines. They just put it up at like a very soft price, low limit, and quickly, like you said, 45 seconds later they shape it to sharp action. So
and
you guys
and,
would be
and raise the
shocked
limits.
how
Yeah.
you guys would be shocked how little they put into research opening lines. They just move very quickly off of that
Yeah, and
based on action.
like, and also this is basic knowledge, but most people that probably watching this don't know this. But so this is how it works. Like they open like, let's say Trae Young 27.5 minus 110, and they are not losing. If they open it 24.5.5, they are not losing anything with it, like nothing, because 3 people will bet like $50 at that line. They'll move to 28.5, and it will it will be close to the closing line. And then they like in the opening line they have like $50 limit, and then like 1 hour before the game or like 3 hours before the game, when they will raise the limits, and everyone will bet like 95% of money will came at the sharper line. So they are not losing anything with this week opening lines, because they'll just open it, and then a couple of sharp people will like adjust the lines, and then they will raise the limits, and everyone will bet the sharper line. And
Yeah.
at the end, like they are not losing anything with weak openings.
Yeah. 100% agree. Also, one other point for because Pinnacle has like minus 107 lines on each side, which is less vig. So people think, you're better off there. If it's lower vig most of the time, it's because they are so confident in their odds that go ahead and bet it at that
Yeah,
price. We're so confident we're
exactly.
still going to win. The bookies that take so a lot of the time that take minus 117 on each side, those are the ones a lot of the time that don't really know what they're doing. And Ontario Caesars takes minus 117 on each side of like NBA and NFL lines, which is horrible. Don't bet there because it's minus 110 at outside of Ontario. But small vig sometimes isn't necessarily a good thing. Sometimes it's because they're
Yeah,
so assured of themselves. So a lot of good insight for betting there. Hopefully you guys can absorb all of that. But these are definitely some practices. It's important to understand these things when you're betting, to understand, how your ROI is affected, how your returns are affected, and all of that. So great insight. Let's move now into more NBA centric discussion. This is a day late. We wanted to do it yesterday, but my Wi-Fi said no. So we're going to do it today. And it kind of still fits because there's another game today between the Clippers and the Thunder. I believe it's today. Either that or it's coming up. Yes, it is today. Clippers just lost to the Thunder. They are now 1.5 games up. They're the 5th seed. Thunder are now the 8th seed. And they are only 2 games up on the Lakers. To make matters worse, Paul George is now going to be missing for 2 to 3 weeks. And on the season, the Clippers have a 6-11 record when Paul George is absent. I checked yesterday. This could change, but the Clippers have the 10th hardest schedule remaining. It's now 11th most difficult schedule remaining in the NBA. With teams right over their shoulder, Pips, how much is this going to affect the Clippers for their final 9 or so games, whatever it is?
yeah. I think they
This
had
is a
some luck.
problem.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. Like they don't have it. They have only one easy game for the rest of the season, and that's the Portland Trail Blazers, and that will come at the time when they shut Damian Lillard. So that's probably one safe win. Other than that, Pelicans away, Bulls away, Grizzlies twice, Pelicans again, Lakers when LeBron is probably back, and in the last game, Suns when KD is probably back. So that's very difficult, very difficult. Norman Powell is out, Paul George is out. Second and third scoring options are out for this team. Their defense is not great. Without Paul George, would be even worse. It's difficult. They will probably end up in playing. Like I'm almost certain that they will end up in the playing tournament because they are not winning over 50% of this game. Like very difficult for them to win over the last six for 50%. And as you said, they are only 1.5 wins away of the playing, and teams can catch up. One of
Yeah.
the interesting things about it is they are playing Thunders today, and Thunders, if can get a win without Paul George, very interesting spot because after this game, Thunder is playing Lakers and they can win that game. LeBron is still out. And then they play Blazers, Hornets, Pistons, and Pacers. That's a very easy schedule. Easiest schedule like you can get. So we could see like Thunder over the next six game winning 5. And it's realistic for them to win 5 out of 6. So they could make like 6 spot and then they could avoid playing tournament. Thunder could avoid playing tournament. And what was the price when I said on the stream like to bet Thunder to make the playoff? I think it was plus
550.
550. And is there any price now? Like I just want to know like what's the price now?
I could not. Let me check FanDuel, but I definitely not on DraftKings anymore.
Yeah, I think they don't want to hold it because they don't know what's going to happen there. But I think they should be like
No,
plus
no
100
price
to
in
make.
FanDuel either. So yeah,
At the best should be like plus 100 for them to make the plane to make the playoffs. So like they made unbelievable run, and we'll
yeah,
talk like if we take a look at the last game against the Clippers, the way they play defense is unbelievable. Like these guys are they have great coach that's doing so many great things. Like I don't like if he coached like G League team, he'll probably be close to the playing spot. Like he's so great, so amazing, and like I don't know, like for a recreational watcher, for casuals, like how deep he went into his playbook to open up Shea Gilgeous in that game. Like I think he went like 15 to 20 different types of offense in this game to open up and to react to reaction of Ty Lue. Like this was unbelievable game. Just so
Yeah, and
uh,
it came down to Kawhi at the end with a chance to win the game, and Lou Dort just locked him in hell, man. Lou Dort was so good on the last play.
so like and they won like just as I just said, like they tried everything against the Shea. They tried first with drop coverage, then they tried with ice defense, then they tried with double teams, then they tried blitzing him, and every time they did it, Thunder's coach adjusted with a different action that will open up the game for him against that kind of defense. Unbelievable. On the other side, double teams on Paul George, double teams on Kawhi Leonard, denial on post up for Zubats, and they were like, okay, we'll make Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, Terrence Mann beat us, and like it was a close game, and we had Kawhi Leonard with 21 points and Paul George with 18 points, like way below their season average in full minutes, like 35 minutes for Paul George before the injury, 38 minutes for Kawhi Leonard, and they were unable to score because whenever they tried to drive, defense collapsed. Kick out for Robert Covington or Marcus Morris, they missed like every three, and they can live with them shooting. Zubats didn't have anything inside besides some like drop offs when they double team and an offensive, a couple offensive rebounds. Like the Oklahoma City Thunder defense is legit, like one of the best in the league, and they'll add Chet Holmgren next season. And also some picks, like they have the best draft capital
Yeah,
ever.
let me give you another piece here that adds some interest to this Clippers situation. The Los Angeles Clippers or the Oklahoma City Thunder have the right to swap picks with the Clippers this season. So the Thunder could finish ahead of the Clippers and then take the Clippers' pick for this upcoming draft as well. So yeah, a lot is going right for OKC right now. They also have how many more Clippers picks do they have? I have it. I have it right here. They have the pick swap for this year. They have Miami's unprotected first round pick from you. So they have Miami's pick swap. They also have coming up the Clippers pick for next year, Miami's pick in 25, as well as a pick swap in 25, and then the Clippers pick in 2026. So already with a good team, adding Chet Holmgren, adding in a draft pick from Miami, adding in, I would say at this point, probably a pick swap from the Clippers. Yeah, this is a
Yeah,
very
and
interesting team.
we just take a look at their team. Like Shea is superstar. Like he's playing on a team with his drive heavy guard, playing on a team with no spacing. No one can shoot that on that team, and he's just having unbelievable scoring. Like if you take a look at the Los Angeles Clippers game, they collapsed on every drive and let everyone open from three, and he was still scoring inside. That's how talented he is. And when they had some shooting around him, like this will be scary. And also Shea is amazing on defense this season. And we
Yeah,
have like
yeah,
Shea. So Shea is like how old is Shea?
24.
Like 24. Is he 24?
Yeah, he's 24.
So Shea is 24. Yeah. Shea is 24 years old. We have Gide, who is 20 years old. We had Jalen Williams, 21-year-old. And Lugens Dort, 23 years old. Like,
And
that's
Chet,
some sick, like, young talent. And Chet is like 20.
20.
Yeah, that's, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then they have, again, 2 picks this year, like 2 picks, or yeah, 2 picks next year, 2 picks the year after that. Yeah, this team is We've been waiting for all these picks to cash in, and they are starting to cash in. So,
so they're amazing. So just short notion of won't be a long one. So tonight, of course, we can expect double teams on Kawhi Leonard whenever he gets the ball. They will help a lot on him. They will double team him. They will try to everything to move the ball away from him, and that will result for some wide open shots, more better matchups, especially like one on one. He's against the Dort. That's very difficult. And then we saw on the last possession how like it was some poor screening, but Kawhi still couldn't do anything against the Dort, which is crazy for Kawhi Leonard. And also like Dort, and they will also throw some double teams and everything on Kawhi. So everyone else besides Kawhi should have like a good game. I especially think Eric Gordon should have a good game, and Terrence Mann should have a great game. Terrence Mann because he's great transitional scorer, and they're playing some high pace, and they will have some turnovers in that game. And Eric Gordon just can shoot, and is a great guy to replace Paul George on the offense. So yeah, I think we can go to look to the for the everyone else besides Kawhi on the Clippers for overs. And on the other side, I had Shea in that game. He covered it, but he faced so much problems. Like he had great game, but they were throwing everything at him. He didn't have a single coverage for most of the time, and when he did, it was mostly the time Kawhi Leonard. So difficult for Shea, but he can still score 35 to 40 points because like last game they did everything they could and he still scored 31 points, and they are now down Paul George, who is amazing defensive player. So we'll see what happens there. But interesting the way Thunders are playing defense, you just take away everything for the best players, like, and that's it.
Yeah. So lots to think about there. Clippers in a perilous situation. I'm all here for it. This is fun watching the Clippers fall like this. But Kawhi has had some superhuman level performances before. Maybe he does it again here and wills them into a top 6 seed. But 1.5 games away from falling into the play-in positions. So we'll update this. Today's game should be very exciting. With that, we're going to wrap up today's show. One official pick for you guys in play. It is in the Cavaliers and the Nets game. Jarrett Allen on the double-double for minus 105 odds at DraftKings. Widely available when we gave it out about half an hour ago now. Might still be available there. Always as well, shop around in your region. You could have a better price on this potentially. So make sure you're looking around this one. But Jarrett Allen, double-double, minus 105 odds is the official play of the day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's pick and roll. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the Board YouTube channel. We're about 50 subscribers away now from 1,000. Let's try to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the regular season here. Support the channel. 5 shows a week you get in return for it. And we will see you tomorrow, hopefully celebrating this win on Jarrett Allen.